This is Global Tel-Link. You have a prepaid call from
Larry, the mentor.
an inmate at the California State Prison, San Quentin, California.
Last time we left off was you exiting LA County Jail. I'm going to let you take it from there. What was next in your life?
So I got out of the county jail, back on the block, hanging out with the homies. And at this time in the community, there was a spike in gang and gun violence. You know, the gang had entered into a war with a neighboring Hispanic gang. And so it was drama, right? And, man, I'm out there on the block in the middle of it, you know, selling drugs, robbing, gang banging, running around crazy. And, you know, this was during the Banging on Wax era, so, you know, that was our soundtrack at the time. And I was off probation, so I didn't have anything hanging over my head at the time. And I was just real loose in the street. And at that time, I had several girlfriends in the projects that I was messing with at the time. And after leaving my girlfriend in Bryan, Texas, the girl that I was talking about marrying, you know, the plan was for me to go to the Navy, for her to go to Prairie View University. After my deployment, come back, get married, start a family, that sort of thing. I left her in Texas and came back to the hood and just got swallowed up.
Now, around this time, you became a father?
Yeah, around this time, I conceived my daughter. And when her mom gave me the news, I was happy about it. I was upbeat about it because I was living so crazy that I felt that if I get killed out here, at least I'll have a presence still in this world through my child. But knowing that there was a baby on the way didn't have the effect on me that it should have, which was to pull me out of the streets and let me start focusing on getting ready for this child to come. I was actually more focused on running the streets.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So you said you thought it was going to change you, but it didn't. The streets were just that powerful, huh?
I didn't think it was going to change me because I didn't want to change. It was so much going on, man. I'm talking about that was the craziest time of my life. Was one of the crazier times of my life. And I didn't want to change. I was, 18 years old, 19 years old, going on 19 years old at the time, and with no sense, So, looking back on it, the question was always, well, if you knew you had a child on the way, why didn't you straighten up? I mean, everybody I was in the street with had a child or a child on the way or multiple children, and they were still on the block. So it wasn't one of those things like dudes in the street have a child or have a child on the way and they get out the streets. That wasn't what I saw. It happens, but that's not what I saw. That wasn't my experience with it. So I stayed in the streets with it too, thinking that I would be able to somehow, dare I say, get rich or acquire enough to get myself and out of the streets and potentially do something for my kid along the way. And it didn't work out that way.
What was a typical day like for you back then during this unfortunate war that you were going through in the streets?
So at that time, I was spending a lot of time at my grandmother's house on the projects. My dad was still staying in Lakewood. My mom was staying in Altadena. So instead of me going back and forth between Lakewood and South Central, back and forth on the train or whatever the case, G rides and all of that, I would just stay at my grandma's house for weeks on end. So typically I get up probably 7, 8 in the morning, take a little stroll through the projects, basically just checking out the scene, patrolling, probably go to the corner store, grab some snacks or something, some blunts, go back to the grandma's, maybe crash out or maybe get dressed depending on what's going on. Crease up, come outside. At that time, I had a green travel bag that we used to conceal weapons in. So I would fill up the travel bag and head to the block, head to the front, 55th in between Holmes and Long Beach Avenue. We call it the front because it's at the front of the projects. And that was where me and my crew, did our thing at, where we like to hang out and do our thing. Go up to the front, distribute weapons, and post up, sell drugs, smoke weed, drink, try to find something to get into before the night, depending on what happens during the day. If there was a sighting of an enemy or some kind of run-in during that day, go down there and see what it's about. Go down there and retaliate. Nightfall come around, go hang out with the homegirls, party, drink, and depending on what happened that day or how we feeling that night, probably smoke some sherm or whatever, jump in the G-Ride and go down there and start some trouble, come back to the projects, post up. My crew wasn't the type to go do something down the way and then run in the house. We'll go do whatever we do, come back and post up and wait for them to come through and then do it again to them when they think they're going to come through. And that was one of the ways that we kept them, we kept the pressure on them. You know what I mean? We're going to come down there and do something to you. And then when you come back down here trying to do something, we're going to be ready. You're not just going to find some people that's unaware walking around. And it was crazy. The police presence was at all. Hood was hot as cayenne pepper, And by 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, probably crash out. Might stay up all night. That wasn't unusual to do an all-nighter. Meaning stay out to the next morning on the front, selling drugs. This was like every day.